WUSA 9. This is 9 News at 11. WUSA 9 News, the first and only local news in the nation's capital in high definition.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Tracy Neal. Todd is on assignment in Louisiana. Let's get you up to speed now on tonight's headlines. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the long lines of people waiting for those federal debit cards will soon be a thing of the past. After this weekend, FEMA is scrapping the debit card plan because it would take too many staffers to pull off. Now Katrina's victims will have to go through traditional channels to get their money in the form of direct deposits to their banks. Well, that is the order to evacuate broadcast from Humvees traveling the streets of New Orleans. Thousands remain in the Crescent City tonight, hiding out from police and the military, wanting to stay put in what's left of their homes. And the foul, tainted water is still being pumped out of the city. Recovery teams say they're not finding as many bodies as they expected, but there is a lot of searching left to be done, block by block, building by building. The man who's been running that federal disaster response has been pulled off the job and called back here to Washington. He is Michael Brown, head of FEMA, appointed by President Bush. He has taken a lot of heat lately from critics who say the feds arrived days too late. But Homeland Security Chief Michael Chertoff calls that criticism unfair.
Mike Brown has done everything he possibly could to coordinate the federal response to this unprecedented challenge.
Yeah.
Chertoff says Brown will now focus on the bigger picture of preparing the nation for future disasters. Back in New Orleans, Coast Guard Admiral Thad Allen will take over the helm and head up the Katrina relief effort. You know, Maryland estimates that more than 2,000 Katrina evacuees have made their way to that state, and now they're looking to start life over after the country's worst natural disaster in a century. One man now in Bowie can vouch for that for sure. Emily Schmidt shows us why.
When Katrina washed away years of Mississippi coast establishments, even one town's longest mainstay could stick it out no longer.
Nothing I could do. I ain't got nowhere to go. But here.
For 3 years running, James Henry was Gulfport, Mississippi's oldest resident at
104. In 2 weeks, I'll be 105.
Nearly 105, yet he told his son EJ in Bowie he would ride out Katrina alone in his home.
He told me that he wasn't leaving the house.
But just before the storm did all of this, James made a life-saving decision.
I went to visit a woman in one hospital, and while I was there, they locked the door. I couldn't get out, and that's what saved me from being blown away.
EJ went down to bring his father back to Maryland and took these pictures of the home James just doesn't want to see again.
If I live 10 more years, or 2 more minutes, I don't want to go back there. Never.
Here, there are grandkids. A full century separates the youngest from the oldest, but the Henrys say it will work.
I think he's going to adjust well here.
James Henry says he's as ready as he'll ever be to move on, thanks to about as much life experience as one can get. Emily Schmidt, 9 News.
James Henry lost his car in the hurricane, but he gave up driving 2 months ago, and he says he'll pass up a chance to drive on Maryland roads. And from a new home now to a new home team, a local high school football player took part in a home game tonight, more than 1,000 miles from his real home. He's one of several students who have relocated to our area. They're trying to settle in. Here's Doug Buchanan with more from the sidelines at Gaithersburg High School.
Number 29. It's not a number a linebacker would normally wear, but in this case it fit, albeit barely, and it was available.
Number 29, is that a linebacker number, a number you're familiar with?
No, sir, but hey, I get adapted to it. I like it.
And while his last name is certainly not hard to spell, it's not on the back of his jersey. After all, he's a last-minute addition to the Gaithersburg High School football roster and student body.
This is my home now. You know, things happen. I got moved here, and we expect to do some things here. We're going to do some major things, sir.
Football runs in his family and now inside his new home. Otis Smith, his uncle, a New Orleans native, just retired after playing the last 13 years in the NFL.
Knock somebody down.
He's now an assistant football coach on the very team in which his nephew is now a new member.
I'm backing him 100%, and whether he plays well or not, he's still on my team.
The 6'2", 250-pound senior was a standout linebacker on his high school football team in the suburbs of New Orleans. That was before Katrina smashed her way into town, forcing Darius Smith into unfamiliar territory and right onto a new team.
When he came up here, he thought he was going to be here 2 or 3 days till they saw the magnitude of what was done down south.
And Darius is far from the only relative of Otis Smith forced north by Hurricane Katrina. In fact, there are 25 others, all taking up space under the very same roof, all starting over in a house far, far from home. In Gaithersburg, Doug Buchanan, 9 News.
Well, before the football season started, Darius's goal was to win a state championship. Well, that goal remains the same tonight, but now he says he wants to do it in Maryland instead of Louisiana. Here's a look now at what else is making headlines this Friday night. Longtime advisor to the president, Karen Hughes, is now the State Department's new undersecretary for public diplomacy. Her job to boost America's image abroad and win allies in the war on terror. And the fences are up and preparations are underway for Sunday's Freedom Walk. It remembers those who were injured or died September 11th. The Pentagon says if you didn't register by this afternoon, you cannot take part in that walk this weekend. More than 13,000 people have signed up. Still ahead tonight at 11, will Ophelia take aim at the East Coast? Topper will have an update on the tropics coming up. Plus a new lease on life. Meet a Navy man with some new wheels. Live from the nation's capital, you are watching 9 News at 11. We'll be back. Out of the wheelchair and onto the bike trail. A special kind of bike is giving injured troops the freedom to get back outdoors and feel the wind on their faces. It is called the Lightning Hand Cycle. There it is. Hospital corpsman Joseph Worley just got one. During combat in Iraq, he lost one leg and suffered serious injuries to the other. Well, now with his new hand cycle, he is racing forward, not looking back.
I miss getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going on a 6-mile run with Marines and with my Marines, and this is a way that I can kind of get back in that groove where, I go through the day feeling better about myself, knowing that I've done something that morning to help improve my body.
That's great. They're pretty cool, too. Those bikes aren't cheap, though. This one cost $4,600. In Worley's case, Uncle Sam is picking up the tab. Pretty neat.
Money well spent.
Let's talk about Ophelia. Hopefully not going to be a problem?
Well, not over the weekend. We've not changed that. That's good. We have a the home opener and season opener on Sunday for the Redskins, but we may have to deal with Ophelia next week. Let's start with the big picture. Here's a jet stream and the satellite. You look carefully through New England, you see kind of a little band of clouds. A cold front is just to our south. And that really will set the stage for a very nice weekend. We're clearing out very nicely. In fact, no clouds back to the west. Down to the south, though, different story. Some of the cloud bands kind of skimming northeastern sections of North Carolina. And this is Ophelia. It's minimal strength hurricane about 250 miles northeast of Daytona Beach. And here's the latest track. This has not changed too much since we saw you earlier, but a lot different than what it was this time yesterday. Right now, 8 o'clock Sunday, still offshore, and it goes toward South Carolina and may make landfall as a Category 1 or a Category 2, this indicating a Category 2, late on Monday or early on Tuesday morning. Mr. Pam will follow this all weekend for you. And then after that, it kind of veers off to the north. Now, as I said earlier this evening, some of the models are taking this on a more northerly course off the Carolina coast quicker, which we get to our area quicker, so stay tuned. Weekend's fine, though. Currently, temps are great. 63 out in Frederick. The cold front is just to our south. 76 in D.C. The cold front the cooler hasn't moved in behind it yet, but it will, because low temperatures tonight are very, very comfortable. 57 in Rockville, 59 in Bethesda, and about 67 downtown. So for tonight, overnight, clear and comfortable, 56 to 66 winds, northwest at about 10. Tomorrow morning, great, mostly sunny and pleasant, 60s and 70s. By afternoon, it'll be warm, but pleasantly warm, high temperatures near 85. The next 7 days, we've got Nationals game tomorrow, football on Sunday, mid-80s, and then it does warm up, upper 80s as we get into next week. And then, depending on what Ophelia does Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday, She could even affect us by Thursday.
We'll be watching.
Okay.
Before we move on to sports, we want to
Yes.
say a quick goodbye to our producer. Come on over. His name is Scott. Come on.
Do we have to say goodbye to
yeah,
Scott?
Oh, we have
Yes,
to.
we
And wish
do.
him well. He's moving on to other things, but it has been great.
Young
so
man.
Thank you.
You're kind of staying in the family with CBS.
Sort of, kind of.
Kind of,
Yeah.
kind of. Okay.
So
Look at you
now we can talk
smiling
about
away.
sports.
Are we going right to me
Now
now?
he cues you, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go. You got
Cue
8
me
minutes,
again.
man.
Okay, coming up next in sports, the roller coaster ride that is the Nationals continues. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. Tonight, they had all of that in just one game. The Vinman, Kenny Castilla. Can he bump up the crowd? We've got baseball highlights coming up next.
Nice night for baseball. They're
Yes.
up, they're down, they're up.
They're up?
All right, we'll take
They're
that.
up. I like
up.
up. I like up.
I like
Up
up.
is
That's
good.
good.
So the Nationals should be called the Cardiac Kids. Just when you think they're down, they find a way to pull at your heartstrings tonight. Was the whole bag of tricks against the Braves. We have baseball in the nation's capital, Washington, taking on Atlanta. Frank Robinson going to a 4-man rotation, and I think he needs another guy. Andrew Jones sending this one deep into the night. That's a 3-run bomb. Number 46 on the season for Andrew. Braves up 6-3. But here comes the home team. Jose Guillen looking for hit number 1,000. Gotcha. It's a huge one. 2 runs come on down. Nationals come back and take an 8-6 lead. And folks, close it out with the Chief. Check it down. Gets save number 44 right there. The Nationals beat the Braves 8-6. We have controversy at the U.S. Open. Get this. An injury timeout should be used for injury purposes, but today Mary Pierce took a 12-minute break, and it looked like she was just getting herself together. After her timeout, the momentum changed, and Mary Pierce went on to win. To the semifinals, Mary Pierce taking on Alema Dimitrieva, and ended the first set, taking her time right there with a backache. She would come back and win the second set, and now Pierce serving for the match. She wins it. Maria Sharapova taking on Kim Clijsters, and that's going to be Mary Pierce's opponent. Kim Clijsters beats Maria Sharapova. They will play in the final tomorrow. So 2 more days and counting. The Redskins play the Bears on Sunday at RFK. We all know that, but who do you want to see? How about Philip Daniels? Last year, the defensive end only played in 5 games because of injuries, and when he's in there, he makes a difference. We all can stand up and put our hands together for John Jansen also. The Redskins leader on offense set out the whole season with a torn Achilles. Just having number 76 in the mix is going to make the team better. And say hello to a healthy LeVar Arrington. 2 knee surgeries have slowed down the so-called face of the Redskins. He says he's fully healthy, and he can't wait to get back in action.
Getting back on the field in the preseason was kind of like my season opener, just to be able to get back and see if I was able to do anything, you know, be effective. So as far as everything else, I mean, it's kind of like downhill now, just, you know, just trying to continue to get better and better each week. So.
There you go, LeVar. See you Sunday. And finally tonight, we have local athletes lending a helping hand. Team Up DC for Hurricane Katrina relief. Today, the Washington professional sport franchises raised money for the victims of Hurricane Katrina. The idea was simple. A simple drive-through donation program. Go to a parking lot at parking lot 8 at RFK Stadium and make a monetary donation. Players from the Capitals, the Mystics, the Wizards, the Redskins, the Nationals, and DC United were all on hand throughout the day to take donations on behalf of the American Red Cross. Team Up DC raised over $35,000. Good going. Well, folks, coming up next, we kick it with Friday Night Under the Lights. Operation Football is in full swing. We've got games, scores, highlights, and a ton more. It's all coming up next. When you hear the music, you know what it is. Welcome back, everybody, folks. It's official. This is the first full week of Operation Football, and you know we've got it covered for the full season right here on WUSA TV 9 on Friday nights. So sit back and relax and let us give you your high school football fix. We're going to start off with our game of the week. You know, you might want to call this an oddity. Rarely do 2 interstate powers meet for a regular season high school football game. Good counsel is number 1. They say they'll take on all comers. And here comes the number 4 Robinson Rams out of Virginia. Are you ready? Hut, hut. The Falcons taking on the Rams. Big crowd on hand, and they would see a good football game. Second quarter, Ram quarterback Goff, the fake handoff, and he is gone. 21 yards. Robinson leads 12-0. Here come the Falcons. Third quarter, Tyrell Jones. The rollout to Colin Stevens, and holla at your boy. Touchdown. Robinson up 13-6. But the Rams would seal the deal. Matt Goff to Lee Karsten. and I was told to check out the run after the catch. Nice. That would set up another Robinson touchdown. The Rams come to good counsel and win 21-6.
I'm just real proud of our guys' effort. I mean, everything was work. I mean, every yard gain was tough, and, you know, stopping them was a chore.
Great win. Great way to go 2-0 for the beginning of the season, but it's over now. Let's start getting ready for our next game.
A couple of games for your Maryland scoreboard. And, folks, the Stags of DeMatha fell to Gilbert tonight. The Baltimore school beat DeMatha 22-9. And Watkins Mill was on the road taking on Damascus. Damascus wins tonight 28-6. Let's stay in Maryland. Blair taking on Richard Montgomery. And before the game, there was like a cheerleader dance-off. Hey, bring it on. I think it's already been brought to the game. And this was the opening kickoff. And Richard Montgomery Rockets never looked back. Kevon Calhoun, the senior running back, says, see ya, wouldn't want to be it. 95 yards to the house. The Rockets take an early lead on the Blazers. And, folks, there was still time to dance. Bring it on. Bring it up. It's been brought. Second quarter, and Patrick Pinacic, the junior Rocket, is running 50 yards up the sidelines. And that would make it 20-0. Richard Montgomery beats Blair 33-7. To Virginia now, and folks, the VA is holding strong. You already know about the Robinson Good Counsel score. Let's give it up again for the Rams. Let's throw the pigskin around Virginia. Thomas Edison taking on Washington Lee. Eagles taking on the Generals, and Washington Lee would make the first noise. Reggie Whitley to Kevin Kim, and we say gotcha. Touchdown. The Generals on the board, 14-6, but Edison was large and in charge. Calhoun, watch the rumble of pay dirt. The Edison Eagles beat the Generals 40-6. Your Virginia scoreboard, only one game. Hayfield taking on Centerville. Centerville wins 56-14.
Hi, we're the Yorktown High School, and we're the cheerleaders of the week on Operation Football with Levin Reed. Yeah!
It's a sure way to make it to the show, folks. A sure way. Yorktown cheerleaders are our cheerleaders of the week. Yorktown taking on West Potomac. Nice pass for Amadou for a touchdown right there, but it was Yorktown's night. Kirby Lowe to Derek Lee. Complete, nice throw to the tight end. 39-14, Yorktown wins. That's the final. To the district now, and just a slow night. Dunbar, the number 6 team in the area, is idle this week, but the action rolls on with 2 games. Coolidge taking on Eastern. We'll head out to Eastern High. The Colts taking on the Ramblers. Coach talking to his players. Opening kickoff, Thomas Robinson. I was told like 7 times this kid's a freshman. 7 times. They said, Levin, he's a freshman. 95 yards to the house, and Thomas would still have a ton left. This time, we head to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood, and I guess his neighborhood is the end zone. Little handoff, and he says, touchdown. Eastern beats Coolidge, 46-0. Baloo taking on Cardozo, and the Knights are rolling along. Cardozo had it rocking early. Nice run right here by Antonio Cooper. Nice, but this is all the Baloo Knights. Aaron Thomas to the end zone. Thomas little juke move right there. I like that. Baloo wins 32-6. Head coach, was offense or defense the key tonight?
Well, it was a little bit of both. You know, a little bit of both. You know, we got a young team, and I felt we came together a lot better tonight than we did in the last 2 earlier games.
So here we are, almost through the first full-scale Operation Football Week, and now we have your scholar athlete. Say hello to Andrew Feggett. Andrew is a senior at Citadel Friends High School. He plays football, basketball, and lacrosse, and get this, Andrew is 1 badge away from becoming an Eagle Scout. Stop it. So give it up to Andrew Feggett, our scholar athlete of the week. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Operation Football 9 News. We'll return in a moment, but first, let's holler at the band of the week as they send us to break. You are listening to the Washington Lee High School Marching Band. They are our Operation Football Band of the week. Hey, listen up as they drive us to break. Welcome back, everybody. Topper's over there trying to give me a 7-day. Stay out of my highlights, Topper. You know, we couldn't let you go without giving you our light of the night. This is what we think is the best high school football play of the evening. Roll tape, please. 2 times the love for the kick return by Kevon. I'm not feeling the Kevon. I like Kevon Cole, who's running back, the senior running back. He would take this 95 yards, but I really thought we should have went with the bring it on. Richard Montgomery Rockets, they would never look back. Kevon Calhoun has our light of the night. It's been brought, that's right. The Rockets beat the Blazers 33-7. And make sure you keep it right here this Sunday for Sports Plus. We'll have full coverage of the Redskins and the Bears Plus. Brian Mitchell, be in the house to break down the Redskins' first game. Keep across for a win. We'll have the finals from the men's side of the U.S. Open and the Rock and Roll 400. NASCAR is in Richmond, so vroom, vroom. It's all on Sports Plus. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Sunday night after the news. Okay, that's going to do it for 9 News tonight. Everybody, take care. Have a good Saturday. Peace.